Right, welcome back to Tales from the PowerAge. How you doing, guys? You good?
Yeah, hi.
Good, mate.
Okay, tonight we are talking about a tour, an album taking us back 39 years. Unbelievable. So this is Ozzy Osbourne, The Ultimate Sin, album and tour, 1986. We are going to talk about the album, and then we're going to talk about one of the shows, one of the three shows that Ozzy and RATT did at Hammersmith Odeon, which was the Friday night, 21st of February. Before we do that, though, just want to remind you to hit the house bell, like, subscribe, get involved. Tell us your memories of this tour. Tell us the memories of this album. Was this a hit or a miss for you? We want to hear all about it in the comments. So hope you enjoy this. This is Ozzy Osbourne, The Ultimate Sin. So let's go on to the first bit of info, Gav.
What we got first is the UK singles. And it was a big hit, wasn't it? Shot in the Dark.
Massive hit. Fantastic song.
We loved it. Oh, he's actually got a real one. I would have had this back in the day, but I haven't got it. Is it just a regular Ozzy style B-side album track?
Double check to see if there was a signature in it, and alas,
yeah. So they did do a version with a signature, as you can see from that. If you want one, Discogs has got it for 250 quid. Bargain. But, genuine autograph, if you believe that. And then they followed it up with a Lightning Strikes, which was the Ultimate Sin, to coincide with Donington. And then there's the infamous misspelt Donington patch.
Do you know what's interesting on that guy? Even on the, I think on the Ozzy t-shirt, I need to double check. So Gappy and I saw him 7 years ago, Gaps, at Donington. I bought the
2018, yeah.
And I'm pretty, it's the No More Tours Volume 2. I'm almost sure that Donington is spelled incorrectly on that t-shirt as well.
Yeah.
Hard
to spell.
But as far as the singles are concerned, I know with the Shot in the Dark single, it had been 3 years since Bark at the Moon, hasn't it? Been a long time.
Yeah, very long time. Yeah.
When this single came out, it had been waited for, and we lapped it up. I bought the single. We all intended to buy these singles along with Dill. I bought the single. It was brilliant. I loved it. Really shocked. What was the B-side, did you say, Dill?
The B-side is, I was looking at it, Rock and Roll Rebel.
Oh, what a great track.
Great value for money, as always.
Well, at least it's a great track.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a feeling it was something like that. I couldn't actually remember. But when I was looking this up, great song, great single. And I remember it being a big hit. And I remember it for the video, obviously, that it had. Great video. And for us 16-year-old lads, we loved it. But I looked up, and it in the UK, it got to number 20. I was sure it got higher than that.
Yeah, I would have thought that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sold quite a few. But in those days, singles, people sold a lot of singles. You couldn't get to the top 10 without selling a hell of a lot. But it was a really good single. I really liked it.
Remember him being on Top of the Pops?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and he did the Tube as well, didn't he? With this lineup.
Yeah, he did. That's right. Yeah, I had that on.
Remembered that.
Yeah,
and again, as far as the Tube, I don't know if it's worth mentioning now, or whether it's worth mentioning Wildlife, where that song's originated from.
Yeah, we could do it now. Yeah. So this song got there's a co-writing credit for Phil Sousson, the new bass player, and he was previously in a band called Wildlife, which also featured a couple of the guys out of FM, the Overland brothers. So where is he? In the middle there is Phil. So yeah, it's Phil Sousson was in this band. This band wrote a song that very much sounded like Shot in the Dark, and the bass line is obviously very key because the song starts with the bass line, and I think it caused a little bit of a rift with the FM boys when this came out, because obviously they should have had a writing credit as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the only track he co-wrote on the album, but it was a great track. They definitely Ozzy-fied it quite a bit.
Oh gosh, yeah. But as well, we sort of felt a kinship, didn't we, for Phil Sousson, because he this year was playing bass with Robin George.
That's right.
Any regular viewers of the pod know we're big Robin George fans. Robin George has a connection to Magnum. We're big Magnum fans.
So the rhythm section at the time when we saw him was Phil on bass and Keck scoring Magnum's drummer on drums.
And the year before this, We actually went to see Robin George. That we were hungry for some Robin George. Went to see him support Uli Roth at Hammersmith.
Yeah.
On a was it a Tuesday? It was a school night.
It was definitely a school
15,
night. Yeah.
16. Yeah, and we saw him and Gav remembered.
I think we might have been the only ones in the crowd that were there to see Robin George. To be fair.
Yeah.
Especially as we piled down to the front, and with the only 3 stood up, I think, for the whole of his gig. And we managed. Gav remembered we managed to meet Phil, didn't we, before the gig?
Yeah, he was just walking under the flyover, and we recognised him. He was well chuffed.
Yeah, not many.
As you would be.
Little did he know that he was about to join Ozzy's band.
Yeah,
which is brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, he probably made some money out of this being a hit single as well, global hit single.
You'd hope so, because as you said, with the Tube was brilliant. It was a great show at the time, and Ozzy was going to be on it. And it was early in the year, and I understand. I looked it up. It was recorded in Newcastle, and it had a packed Geordie crowd for him, and it was brilliant. And it opened. It was so metal. This is on the Tube. It used to be a Friday night in the UK, didn't it? Friday night, was it like 5 in the evening or something like that?
Yeah, it was early. Yeah,
it was great. Yeah. And it came on, and I remember the first. He came on to Shot in the Dark, and it started off just with. If you can look at on YouTube, it started off with just Phil's bass line with the drums. Then it came in with keyboards, and then the guitar, and then they had explosions, and it was just pure Ozzy, pure theatre. It did the 3 tracks. It did the 3 tracks, didn't it? It was brilliant, really good.
It's a flawless song, in my opinion. Absolutely brilliant. Nothing wrong with this song at all. No. Guitar solo's great. Everything about this song is absolutely brilliant.
And amazingly tucked right at the end of the album.
Yeah, which is unreal, isn't it? Because I've never heard before a single taken from the last song on an album.
That's ridiculous. Mad. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on to some of the press. So, gosh, we used to remember getting that. I used to have that Kerrang. Fantastic. You want to cover some of those off, Gav?
Yeah, he was on at least 2 Kerrang covers that year, because he was on later on for Donington as well. There isn't much press activity that's still online for this era. These are the only ads I can find for the album. And I successfully found no ads for the tour. So it was really weird, because it certainly wouldn't have been online, at the time. So I don't know how we got to find out about the tour. Of course, this was the era where Ozzy felt the need to put on sparkly cloaks and sit in ridiculous chairs.
Thrones
coming down from the ceiling. But more of that later.
But yeah.
Okay, good. Onto the next bit, which is this looks great, doesn't it? So, has anyone got that, by the way? If anyone watching's got that, please tell us, because this looks
the picture disc?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I can't remember ever seeing the picture disc in real life.
No, I've not.
Maybe it's a bootleg or something. I don't know. But,
I've not seen it.
Obviously got the album with a very plain back side, and randomly songs in the wrong order.
Yeah. Well, Kiss used to do that, didn't they? So
yeah. It's very much a Kiss thing, and it was very irritating when they did it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Also in the wrong order on the lyric sheet on the other side.
That is annoying. Yeah,
it's very annoying.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
There's no need for that now, is there?
That's just silly.
Unusually for a CBS album, though, which this one, it was Epic, which is part of CBS. There was actually a new cover, which wasn't always the case, was it, with CBS? I know it was some of the later Epic.
Generally
album.
quite tight.
Yeah.
No custom label either.
Yeah.
And again, as far as release date for the album, released in the States 2 weeks before it was released here. It said, when I was looking through the internet, released on the 24th of January in the States and 10th of Feb here. I don't know if anyone else had no idea why that would be. Interesting.
Maybe he wasn't touring there because he toured.
No, he started here. The tour started in the UK. Yeah.
I mean, Shot in the Dark, the single Shot in the Dark was released on the 20th of Jan here. Whether they wanted to give it a couple of weeks before then getting the album out, I don't know. But I'm sure Sharon had a reason for it. I mean, Ozzy's company had a reason for it.
Yeah.
I imagine.
And there's the album. So should we have a chat through? Jam, do you want to kick off?
Yeah. I mean, as far for me, I really like when it came out. I really liked it. There were a couple of tracks that I didn't ever get on with, but the majority of this album I thought was brilliant. Again, like we were saying, Shot in the Dark being at the end was really strange. I love the Ultimate Sin. It's really heavy, and Secret Loser.
Very heavy.
The guitars, I know Gaps are probably going into more depth. I thought the guitar was really good on this. I really liked it. And I thought it sounded really heavy, and I was in a point in my life where I was starting to feel like the heavier music. So it felt like a natural development on from Bark at the Moon for me. So yeah, there were way more good tracks than tracks I didn't like. It's just I didn't get on with Thank God for the Bomb and Killer of Giants. Just didn't really light my fire. But yeah, Secret Loser I loved, and I've loved it always. I've never got tired. It's one of those tracks I've never got tired of. I really, really like it. The way it heads it top and tails of the Ultimate Sin and Shot in the Dark is pretty clever for any record to have the first and last songs being awesome. But yeah, I really liked it.
Gaps, any thoughts on the album?
Well, to me, this is my favourite Ozzy album of the first 4 albums that he did. I've always loved Jake Lee's playing, and he takes on from Bark at the Moon, and this is just godlike guitar playing for me on this album. From what Jamie said, I mean, I love Thank God for the Bomb. And which was the other one you didn't like? Killer of Giants. What a fantastic start. The acoustic start to it is immense. It's a great song. But the standouts for me, Shot in the Dark is a brilliant song. Fool Like You is a fantastic song. And Lightning Strike, side 2 for me on this album is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love Bark at the Moon, but for me, this album is better. And Jakey Lee is absolutely on fire throughout the whole thing. Absolutely brilliant. Love it.
Okay. Gav?
Yeah, echo all those points. I don't know if it's the best of the first 4, but it's way better than I remember. I remember at the time thinking it was a bit weak, but on listening to it in the preparation for this, it's much stronger than I remember. And the production isn't great. I don't really like the.
I love the production.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The only thing I don't like about it is the drums are maybe a bit too loud. And the track listing is wrong. They should have had Shot in the Dark first, and the Ultimate Sin should have been last. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it could do with a remix, but apart from that, it's way stronger than I remembered. And Shot in the Dark really shines. You know, when you finally get to it, you remember how brilliant it is.
It's just a flawless song.
Yeah.
What I've not found on anywhere is who does the backing vocals on this, because I'm fairly sure it isn't Ozzy. But you can't find anywhere who actually does the bevox, and the bevox on some of it, especially Secret Loser and Lightning Strikes, the backing vocals are immense.
I reckon it is Ozzy.
You reckon it is?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like him.
But I agree. I was going to mention that to Jay as well, a fellow backing vocal singer. They're really catchy, aren't they? They're really good lines. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's a really strong album, much better than I remember, like I say.
For me, the standout track is Shot in the Dark, but also Fall Like You. I think that's such a brilliant song. And I'm probably in agreement with you, Gaps, that side 2 is amazing. You know, it's a really good B-side for an album. I'm also in agreement with you, Gav. I don't think is best of the first 4. I think, you know, it's always difficult to beat that first album, which is insanely good. But it's the thing
for me is the guitar sound on this album is so much better than it was on the first 2 albums, because it was so tinny. Like that, Poor old Randy, he didn't get in the mix, and it's just the sound is dreadful for me.
But either way, Jake had come up through the ranks as a guitar legend, and you can see the picture there, and he's with his trusty white Strat, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So listen out for that. We've got a good story about that Stratocaster. So that's the album.
Recorded in London and Paris. Backing tracks recorded in London. You'd imagine he'd be in LA, wouldn't you? But
I think he still lived in. He lived in.
Gerrard's Cross, was it, or
no, Sea Green? I drove past his house on my way to my grandma's pretty much every other weekend.
Yeah, he was
he's supposed to be coming back, isn't he? But he hasn't quite managed it yet.
Yeah.
And chart-wise, in the States, it was top 10 both in the States and in the UK. Hit number 8 in the States on the Billboard, and 6 over here. So it shifted some units, didn't it? It was in the millions, obviously. It did well. It did very well.
Yeah, he was reaching his peak, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Commercial wise, yeah.
No More Tears was huge as well. So Randy, this is Randy's first album, isn't it? And Phil, obviously Phil's first album, but it was Phil's last album. But the others trooped on for a bit more. This one has got a certain appeal, but it's only released in Japan. But I thought it was pretty cool. Ultimate Live Ozzy picture disc.
A bit of Benny Hill going on there as well on the picture.
Yeah, we like it for quite an obvious reason.
I think Jake likes it as well.
Fair, yeah.
Anyway, just a little bit of interest.
Very good. The program.
And then, moving on towards the upcoming tour.
Because as you say, it's sparkling capes and oh, Jesus, what's he got off his microphone?
Yeah, I remember he had that on the tour as well.
Yeah,
so we got the old program here. It's very, very dull.
Yeah,
but yeah, a lot of sparkly stuff going on.
Around about this time, though, it's around about this time. I know I was watching a video because I just said on BBC, but they'd aired Ozzy Osbourne live in Salt Lake City. Did you have that one, Gav?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So that had the Bark of the Moon tour. And I was watching that, and it was Jake Elliott just being superb. So that was, I think, also what fed our fuel for wanting to see Ozzy again.
Yeah, you're right.
Superb. It just built. There was a big gap from Bark at the Moon album to this album, and yeah, for us, I think we just built more and more wanting to see him again live. So yeah.
Anyway, so that's the program. I think that was £4.50 on the night, if I'm not mistaken. If you check the merch sheet, £4.50 of your finest English pounds.
No, only £4.
Oh, £4. There you go.
Yeah. T-shirts were £8.50. But yeah, just to make it extra small and unreadable, they put it as half the size it should be. You've got all this rubbish going on here.
Yeah, that's good. You've got the merch sheet. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know, I look at that now, Gav, and I actually had the black T-shirt, and I bought the black T-shirt because on the back it was brilliant. The Ozzy Osbourne sold out stamped across the back of it. But now I look at it, you think, oh, I wish I had that white T-shirt as well, because that's fantastic.
I think I can help you with that. Oh,
yeah,
no.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. I had that. God,
that's a brilliant T-shirt. Like the limited number of colours they've splashed out on. So yeah, we trooped along to Hammersmith, three of us.
We did, yeah.
My surviving ticket.
Just back to that T-shirt set, Gav. Now, we went to see AC/DC, I think 2 or 3 weeks before this, at Wembley Arena before this show, 4 weeks before. And the Fly on the Wall T-shirt had AC/DC in the same position as Ozzy Osbourne is on the front. That was quite an unusual development of T-shirts at the time, that Ozzy and AC/DC were both further down at the bottom of the T-shirt. So whether they were both designed by the same people, who knows? If you know,
probably.
If you designed it, let us know what your thought process was.
What's the company called?
And
Winterland Productions.
And again, from the dates, we've got the tour dates, and you can see he did 3 dates at Hameo, and then he came back to do another one, which again shows it was unprecedented. They weren't expecting Ozzy to be doing 4 nights at Hammersmith. The fact he returned a couple of days later shows just how in demand he was.
And there's the crappy old tickets where they get stamped on the back.
Yeah.
And you're lucky if you can read them.
Sometimes they didn't get stamped on the back either.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so we were up in the circle. Well,
yeah. And again, the thing is, again, for us, we got to remember the age that we were at. And so many of our gigs that we managed, we were lucky. And we've said this. Any regular viewers will know this. But Oxford Apollo was our local. But we were able to get along to Hammersmith Odeon. But so often we ended up in the circle for Hammersmith, didn't we? Because at Oxford we could just we'd pile in there and get to the box office and queue up and get tickets. But of course, Hammersmith, we had to go on the phone or get our parents to do it with a credit card or send a check off, or all this sort of.
Or going to London and actually going to Star Green.
Yeah. Yeah. So we invariably did end up in the circle often, didn't we, for big gigs? But Hammersmith was the place where it wasn't so bad if you're in the circle, because it was so awesome. The crowd was so awesome always. Whether you were in the stalls or the circle, it was still rocked.
Probably the biggest circle ever.
It's huge,
enormous,
massive. But yeah.
No cameras or tapes. No ticket exchanged for money refund or money refunded.
But decent road D, decent tickets though we had, didn't we? Really good.
I remember Randy did a drum solo, and he played all the way around the kit. Do you remember? He walked in front of the kit and was tapping away. It was innovative.
Funnily enough, being a drum solo, I don't remember.
Well, he actually came out from behind it and played on the rims and shit.
Yeah, he tapped everything and walked his way around.
He had the big drum riser though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was he up high for the actual drum solo? I can't remember. I'm sure he would have been. He'd have been up level with us because it went really high. It was it was mad.
There we are. And then who supported? Only RATT.
Wow. So I mean, these were quite new to us at the time, weren't they? I didn't have any of these albums. I thought they had loads of energy. They were jumping around the stage, and they're playing exactly the sort of stuff that I wanted to hear, and I liked hearing at the time. They were really competent, and
there's some coiffured hairstyles there as well. Jesus Christ!
It was the time though, Gaps, wasn't it? You think about the bands. Totally. It's that whole LA look, wasn't it?
When I bought the Lay It Down single, like I think a lot of us probably did, actually 7-inch, and I really, really liked it. And then, of course, I got the Invasion of Your Privacy album, which I loved. I bought all the loads of their albums after that. But I think this is the first time I'd seen them live. I really liked them. Perfect introduction for them to be. I'm guessing this was their first time visiting the UK. Don't know. Perhaps someone could let us know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I remember they were really, really good, and we were really looking forward to it. And the thing is with that, especially at that age, 17, you wanted a show, you wanted the support band to be decent, so you could actually, your pound notes were worth it because you get a decent support band and then the headliner. So, yeah, we loved these. I just remember them being really good, to be honest.
And they played 12 songs. 12 songs as a support band. And a drum solo and a guitar solo. As a support band. That's nuts.
Yeah. I mean,
however...
That's a full set if you think about actually
it is a full set,
the time, and it's amazing.
And not that I wouldn't say Ozzy's ever short, but he's never done the longest of sets when I've seen him, and that's fine as far as I'm concerned because you want quality rather than in my book you want quality rather than quantity. So at least it's just making sure you've got a really decent value for money show, haven't you? And yeah, that's great, especially when it's a band you like and you get. I can't remember being a drum solo. I can't believe it'd have been that long. Surely. Just might have been just a little bit, but no, they're really, really good.
A couple of those laid down
and an encore. How does a support band get an encore?
Well, they were backed heavily by the record label, weren't they? And I remember seeing the video for "You're in Love," which was in a huge arena in the States, and there were picture discs and stuff that came out of it. So they were having a big push, but they were pretty big in the States at the time.
I think that was probably it. They probably had the power to insist on a longer set and things like that because they were so huge in America.
Yeah.
They came over here and to play theatres. They were thinking, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm glad they did the encore because I love Round and Round. It's bloody awesome.
It's a great song.
No, it's one of those ones where you look at the set list and I think they're all awesome. It's one of those ones you start looking and go, oh, they're all awesome.
Brilliant.
The set list for Newcastle was a couple of songs shorter. So let me big you up.
There you go. It's a nice sprat plectrum there, look.
Yeah.
That was actually Gav and I went to saw RATT the following year, didn't we, in Germany?
We did.
At Monsters of Rock in Germany. But this was picked up a couple of years after that. Ozzy, wow. Well, look, couple of things before I go to you guys. A lot of dry ice. I don't know if you've seen the Ultimate Ozzy, which was all part of this set. I think it was filmed in Kansas City, actually, funnily enough. But there was this whole thing you've already mentioned about the long jacket. So Ozzy's black and yellow long jacket. Do you remember Spice? He used to have one of those. He used to wear it out all the time. It was hilarious. And when we went to Germany and Spice came, he brought his Ozzy jacket with him as well. So there was certainly the time. God knows where you'd get one of those now. But the long jackets, etc., was all the thing. So the dry ice right at the beginning. And I was talking to a good friend of ours. He was saying, I just couldn't believe it. Bark at the Moon, which they kicked off with, all the dry ice. And then he remembered Jake jumping into view, sort of off the PA or off part of the stage set. and he was just mesmerised by it all the way through. I mean, Jakey Lee was an incredible, and still is an incredible guitar player. But yeah, it was amazing. It was really exciting. And then when you look at the set list, Bark at the Moon, Suicide Solution, one of his most famous songs, which is amazing. Never Know Why, Mr. Crowley, so early on, and then Shot in the Dark. I mean, the set list is brilliant. And then finishing with some of the Black Sabbath classics, with Crazy Train sandwiched in between Iron Man and Paranoid. I think even now it's a brilliant set list. And if I saw that set list again, I'd be absolutely delighted to see that, because I think it's great. But yeah, great show, amazing. As you said, pyrotechnics, smoke. Yeah, I remember it being a really good night, really enjoying it.
6 songs off the new album.
Still a great set, though. Do you know what? You just don't notice, actually, but you know, they're buried in between those absolute classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be happy to see that set again for sure.
I mean, it includes the thing with an Ozzy show, and that we felt back then, Ozzy Osbourne was an absolute mega star. He invented metal with Black Sabbath from whenever. He had a life. His life was amazing. But whenever I saw him, it was like he was hero worshipped by so many. He was held in such high esteem. I don't know what you always think, but it was always really, really special. And I know I've gone on about it, and we've got a pod about it. When he guested in '84 at Donington, he blew the place apart, and it was the strongest, arguably the strongest Donington Monster Rock list ever. There were 6 bands set for that, and then Ozzy was announced late as a special guest, and he blew the place apart with his immenseness. And it felt like from there that gave him for me, it catapulted him and just sent him on his way, and he just then took over it felt like he took over the world. Like the States recognized this guy, and it's just, whenever I see him, he's so revered so highly by his fans. It just amazes me. And again, the way he's managed to do that set, and it's got loads of new songs on it, but it's got ones for the Flying High Again is in my top 3 Ozzy favorite songs. I love it. He didn't need to play that then, but he did, because he recognized that you need, I don't know, Flying High Again. There's some just awesome songs. Suicide Solution, the way he's fit, I just think that set list is so good. As Dill said, such a well balanced set, promoting a brand new record with six brand new tracks, but still, honestly, it's been put together so well, and included a couple of absolute godlike songs in the Sabbath songs. Yeah. I just think that set list, someone sat down, it's just brilliant. And I remember it was amazing. And being at Hammersmith for it with a packed out crowd on a Friday night, superb. My memory of that was just out of this world. And it didn't matter if he wore a frock. It didn't matter. He had more sequins than my sister when she Chattanooga Choo Choo at Reading Town Hall.
I'm not sure he had a frock on. He had a long jacket. He had a frock on when he urinated on the Alamo. When he disappeared for a few days and got arrested, but he certainly didn't have a frock on at this gig. But it was he was looking great.
A long kimono. But it didn't matter, because he was Ozzy Osbourne, and it was brilliant. Superb guy.
So the plectrums on the picture there were they were lent to us from a good friend of ours who we all went to school with. I actually went to this gig with, and I'm sure we must have all met up. His dad dropped us off around the backstage area, and sadly we didn't get to see Ozzy or Jake or anyone else for that matter. But what this guy then went on to do, we all went on merry ways. He worked for Iron Maiden. He's worked for many of our metal heroes, including Ronnie James, etc., etc. Halloween, Magnum, you name it. He's been involved with them at some point. Now, in the latter part of his career, which wasn't that long ago, actually, he worked for a band called One Direction. You may or may not have heard of them, but they were quite big for a while. And one of the chaps in One Direction is called Niall. And Niall decided that he was going to start playing guitar on stage. So our good friend, Paulo, who's always had a slight obsession with Jake, thought, I know just the thing. Let me have a word with Fender. So, of course, Fender were more than happy to oblige with whatever the order is, and order was, but they obliged Niall and our good mate who'd ordered the said guitar, with a white strap and a black scratch plate. And as you'll see from the photo, there's Niall on stage, and you'll also see that it also been set up with the plectrums in exactly the same way that Jakey Lee used to have the plectrums on his white Strat, which I think is absolutely amazing. For any roadies out there, apparently the pickups are not the wrong way round as Jake had, because that was too much trouble to go to apparently. But for all intents and purpose, that was a homage to Jakey Lee. So there's a story for you that probably most people don't know. And if you've got any One Direction fans or kids that might find that interesting, you might want to show them that little bit there. So that's our little story around the white Strat and Jakey Lee. Right, shall we go to let's go to the next bit, which is what happened next. So I think we all went to this as well.
We certainly all went to this,
which was amazing. It's a great picture there. A couple of things that are really memorable about this: Ozzy being interviewed on Bad News. So if you've never seen Bad News, that's well, that's worth watching. So if you're an Ozzy nut, go and watch that, because he gets interviewed. It's all a bit of a parody of a metal band, which is brilliant. But this was a great show, and it was a brilliant day. And this is covered on another pod of ours, which if you haven't seen it, I'd really encourage you to have a beer and watch it. So
I'll link it at the end. So if you just hang on to the end, you can click on it. And that, I think that green monstrosity is part of the throne, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't look green. No, I would never remember it looking green under the lights. No. It looks better in real life. Looks like something from Great Yarmouth Fairground. Doesn't it, to be fair? Anyway.
So then we have the What Happens Next.
Yeah, which is
legendary.
The legendary Metallica supporting on the Master of Puppets. So
I remember seeing these photos everywhere, the Metallica and Ozzy photos.
Yeah.
And because we were all heavily into Metallica at this point.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, imagine that. You know? what a fantastic tour.
Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely superb. Do you know the guitar player from Faith No More actually went to school with Cliff Burton? I didn't know that until the other day, which is
well done. That's great. In fact,
played in a band together. Ironically, I can't remember his name. I saw Faith No More 4 or 5 times back in the day, but I only found that out the other day. They went to school together. We're in high school and had a little band. Anyway,
I would have thought he would have been older than Cliff.
Yeah, well,
I actually think no.
But anyway, what also happened next is one of us had a bit of an audition with Ozzy Osbourne. Suffice to say, it wasn't me. So, Gav, do you want to tell them all about it?
Well, not really an audition. I just sent an audition tape and photos. That was the call went out for a new drummer, and I thought, what the hell, in the 90s. And I got a very polite, very kind letter back in an LA postmarked.
Wow.
Franked. Even has Ozzy written on the envelope as well. So yeah, nice little thing to treasure. Yeah. You tried, you failed.
With a real Ozzy Osbourne signature.
No.
And it was P.S. You might have got the gig had it not been for the cowbell.
What, you don't reckon that? You don't reckon that's his signature on that?
No, it was just printed.
Do I appreciate the cowbell?
I don't mean the fact that it was printed, but that's an actual signature.
That is a facsimile of his actual signature. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So a nice little keepsake.
That's brilliant. Well done.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's in great condition as well, that, Gav.
Well, I treasure it.
Yeah, you should get that
as you would.
Framed. Should get that framed.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you could put in the toilet.
That's your picture of you and the Queen, my friend.
Anyway, that's Ozzy Osbourne.
That's another story.
That's the Ultimate Sin tour. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it brings back memories as well. And we've been talking to a few of our mates that went to this tour, and it has certainly jogged a few memories. I think everyone's re-listened to the album with new enthusiasm, and to I think a few of you points actually. It's a much better album than I remember it. So
brilliant.
I hope you enjoy revisiting that again. If you want to have a look at where we go to, the gigs that we go to, check out Tales from the PowerAge Live. Fingers crossed there'll be some Ozzy coming on this over the next couple of months. So more news about that in due course. You can also get in touch with us on www.talesfromthepowerage.com. We are also on X, on which used to be Twitter, on TTFTPR. I always have to read this because I never remember it off the top of my head. Or on BLUESKY as well. Also on Instagram, so look out for some of the new posts on there. We're looking to build a following on that too, so please get involved. Spread shop. Sounds like a bread shop, doesn't it? Every time I see that, I think that sounds like a sandwich shop. Anyway, either way, it's a sandwich of t-shirts, and you can buy a sandwich of our merch from Tales from the Power Age at myspreadshop.com. Check it out. And I've already done the online bit, and just a reminder, we're also on Facebook as well, if you want to get involved with that. We really enjoyed that. We're hoping to connect with Ozzy again soon. We will see you very soon. Hope you enjoyed that. Take care. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
See you later.
I've now realised I'd forgotten about Borlo loving Jakey Lee so much. That's why his hair looked like that, wasn't it?
He's obsessed with him. Utterly obsessed with Jakey Lee.
Superb. Love it.